How's it going, lazy persons? I'm Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to the VII Enigma. It's time for us to check on Jasper and see if he's got this machine up and running yet, so that we can actually put Plan A or Plan B into action, so we can get Elijah's memories back. Shit's gonna go serious when that happens, but I'm very excited to see what happens next. Later that afternoon, Ica and Elijah visit Jasper to check on the progress of the memory sync device. How's it coming along, Jasper? Better than expected, actually. I anticipated a few more hitches with getting the software patched to my device, but it was surprisingly compatible. I've added a few fixes, but I don't think I'll need to do much more. So the software side is still on go? Yeah, but not too much more to go. Once I finish the hardware, I'll then have to double check it once again to make sure the software and hardware are communicating properly. So you haven't finished the hardware? Not yet. That part won't be too hard though. The plans the founder said are quite simple tweaks to the unit I already have. Pretty clever the way it worked together. That's good. How long will it be until it's ready to go, do you think? If everything continues to go smoothly, I might be finished by tomorrow afternoon, ready for use tomorrow night. It depends if there are any problems encountered in the final tests. I wonder if Boss carried Jasper up their ranks. He seems to be a wizard all this. That was really quick. It was quick, but we already had everything we needed ready to go. The hardest part is the software. That's where the real action takes place, and this was sent to us already completed. Who knows how many decades it took to develop it. For us, it was really just about patching the install to get it working. That's good news. Let's aim to use the device tomorrow night to get Elijah's memories back. Does that work? Will you both be prepared? That should be fine, provided we don't hit any issues. I'll aim for it to be ready then. I guess I better just get it over and done with. Great. Tomorrow night it is. Elijah, it's almost time to get your memories back. Tomorrow. I just hope all my fears are for nothing. Oh, they won't be. That much we can be certain. There'll be a reason why he's so anxious about it. January 30th, 2060. Early the next morning, Beckett walks briskly en route to his assignment from Lionel. It's not often you make it out of the lab. That's true. I've not been trained for this kind of work, though this is one of the rare times I'm overqualified for a job out in the field. True enough. I have to say, sir, it's strange to be reassigned given we still haven't recaptured Dr. Shaw. I thought that'd be the priority. I'm not sure why we are here instead. We're here because Lionel is testing us. This is the opportunity for us to show our worth. Considering not long ago we were worried about being offed by the Bureau, I say we should be grateful and take this opportunity with both hands. Ah, right. Of course, sir. Sorry. What are the specifics of the mission? We have been sent to find a group guilty of hate crimes. Hate crimes? Not many are convicted of that these days. Which group would that be, sir? A group that calls themselves Curriculum. Well, they used to call themselves that anyway. I have been aware of them for some time. They used to be anti-Bosk fighters some time ago. Most of the group were terminated for their crimes in the late 40s, and they haven't been active since. There were some among their ranks who survived that weren't directly connected to any crimes. I see. Why weren't they dealt with already? It was some time ago when the Tempest system was still new in the late 40s. Changes to this period aren't allowed to be made anymore. It's a foundational time for Bosk, and changes could have unwanted outcomes. I see. So I take it this group is harmless then? Yes. The few survivors have all moved on since the uprisings, gotten jobs, had kids and whatnot. Why are we going after them now? If they aren't a threat, I don't understand the directive. Logan, the criminal we just terminated, who's helping the accomplices of Dr. Shaw, turns out he used to be part of this group. Lionel himself has asked me to take care of the rest of the remnants we have on record. Take care of them? I see. Very well then, sir. Did you pick up the device we were requested to use? I did, sir. It's in this case. Pass it to me. I'd like to take a look. The assistant hands over the black plastic case. One a similar size and shape to a briefcase. Feel free to open it up and have a look, sir. Though I should warn you, it's quite a delicate device, so be careful. Beckett opens the case to reveal a device resembling a computer fitted with what looks like a miniature satellite dish. You happen to know what this is? Not exactly, sir. I guess it's a classified information because they didn't say. Looks like a miniature neural ID scanner, though a little different. I haven't been informed about it either. Lionel just said to use it. That will make the job easier. You know how to work it? Yes, there are instructions. It's already been preloaded, ready to go. I only have to ensure the connection to the server and flip a switch to activate it. Good. Seems simple enough then. It is. The design of it looks very old, though I'm guessing it's anything but. It's probably another expression of Lionel's love for period designs. Yes, despite turn of the century housing, what's underneath is as sophisticated as it gets. Thought so. A question though, sir. It is quite early. The sun isn't even up yet. Is there a reason we came out at this time? Yes, so we can be sure to get our targets all in one go. Our intelligence indicates they meet together for a breakfast periodically. A bit of a time of reminiscing about the good old days or something like that. One is on today, and they'll arrive. As they arrive, I'll cross our targets off the list. Once they're all in there, that's when we'll store them in. Just make sure the device is ready to use. Okay, sir, I'll be ready. Here's a gun just in case. Always better to be prepared. I have noticed that about you, sir. You're always prepared with all manner of hidden weapons and gadgets. You never know what may happen out there, and having that attitude has saved my skin many times already. You should do likewise if you're going to come out in the field more often. He said I'd be out in the field more often. The assistant raised his voice in surprise before Beckett cuts it off. Shh. Okay, we're here. Let's hide around this corner. I'll count them in. Got it. You ready to move when I tell you? After an hour of waiting, the sun has risen and Beckett counts in the final targets on his list. That's all of them? You ready? Yes, sir. Beckett takes his pistol from his holster and readies himself. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Beckett makes a dash toward the stairs, flying through the door and into the room with a swift action as the assistant follows in tow. Everybody down! Beckett shouts the instruction with a pistol raised to the group of 8, who turn around in surprise, slow to react to the situation. Who are you? What do you want with us? I'm Agent Beckett. You're under arrest for hate crimes. Get down now. Agent Beckett? Does that mean you're... The men, although not initially combative, seemed less flustered than Beckett expected, given the situation unfolding before them. Suddenly, another man enters from the back room, holding a large metal pole in a menacing fashion. Wait a minute. Let's not be too hasty, Riley. With an arm extended, the man behind the bar, who appeared to be a leader of sorts, stops his friend advancing further. Then he turns his attention back to Beckett to address him with force. You got a lot of guts coming in here after what happened to Logan. If you don't have proof of crime or a warrant, I suggest you leave. You really think that's how this works? Well, if you're not going to come easily, we'll have to use alternative means. Fire up the device. Do it now. Okay, activating now. The assistant hits the switch on the briefcase housed device. It starts to emit a loud, swelling hum. Is it working? I think so. I just don't know exactly what it's supposed to do. Looking at the men, he noticed a slight shift in their demeanour and a change in the intensity of their stare. I'll say it again. On the ground, now! This time the men get on the ground in response to the command, though their actions are laboured, as if some weight were on their back to compel them to the floor. Okay, now nobody move from where you are. The men lie motionless on the floor, although their faces reveal the strain of struggle. The air is heavy in the room, as the resonant swelling brings with it a haze of perception. The assistant moves over to Beckett to inquire about the situation. What is going on? They weren't this cooperative before. Beckett doesn't respond immediately. Rather, he looks intently at the men. What is this device? It's hard to believe, but I can't think of anything else. Maybe we should test it? Beckett nods and turns to face the group, speaking with an authoritative voice. Okay. You all may not move, but you may speak. You. Why did you suddenly obey my orders to get on the floor? I don't know. It's like my body moved on its own. Did you try to stop it? Yeah, but my brain and body felt like they somehow separated. The assistant steps forward again to whisper to Beckett. Now they're answering all our questions directly. I think this device may be able to influence them to obey us somehow. How's that possible? Well, not easily. I don't want to think how many loops they spent to create this tech. Though there is one thing, sir. Yeah? This device must have gone through a great deal of setup for this operation. For them to obey your voice specifically? Yet for me not to be affected? It must have been set up only to sync with certain neural IDs. Based on what we know of Lionel, that doesn't surprise me at all. He has probably had this in mind for a while. Hey you said you were Agent Beckett earlier, right? One of the men on the floor calls out laboriously with a husky voice. Yeah, what of it? Beckett Dalton? Upon hearing the surname, something ignites within Beckett as his eyes grow wide with an intense ferocity. Who gave you permission to use that name? Huh, I guess it is you then. How pathetic and ironic. What do you mean? Beckett shows signs of trying to contain himself, though his voice is pouring out with the strain, as if under tension of opposing forces. My name is Xander. Your father, our former leader, was my closest friend before Boss took him out. Your former leader? So what? He and the whole lot of you idiots... he and the whole lot of you were idiots for defying them in the first place. You're wrong. He was a brave and caring man. He would often talk about, you know. He gave everything he had to try and make a better world for his family. Better world? All he did was get himself killed for his trouble. Some better world. Beckett sneers in swelling anger. There is no defying Bosk. Even he came to know that at the end. You should have seen him, denying everything he fought for, right before he died, realizing his stupidity. He was pathetic. Beckett stands clutching his pistol, breathing heavily with a slight tremor visible in his arm as he tries to contain his anger. Xander pauses a second before responding in a calm tone. I always hoped to meet you one day. I knew you were out there somewhere. I felt I owed it to your father to see what kind of a man his son had become. But to see you working for the Bureau in this way, knowingly betraying everything he stood for? Shut up! At once, Xander is quiet due to the influence of the device. With rapid, intentional movements, Beckett aims his gun at the helpless man on the floor and fires his gun at Xander. Die! And fires it again and again. All of you die! You did this to yourselves! In a frenzied rage, Beckett unleashes all of his anger and bullets upon the defenseless men, unloading 2 full magazines of 15 rounds upon them. Die! At the end of it, the room is left in silence, broken only by the heavy panting of Beckett, who is left hunched over as he tries to regain himself. What am I doing? How could I have... You okay, sir? Yeah, I'm fine. Beckett straightens up and returns his pistol to his holster, wiping his brow and shaking off the incident like a man waking from a dream. Though certainly not for the first time, the assistant has seen such behaviour from Beckett. He still struggles to adjust to the shift in Beckett's demeanour. Well, I'd say this device is a success. It appears so. The assistant tries to hide his fear and act as normal, as he normally would, not wanting to stir the wrath the agent so suddenly unleashed. We better get a clean-up crew in here. Contact dispatch and make it happen. Yes, sir. We weren't tasked with apprehending them, however. I'm not sure they will be pleased with how this turned... We aren't tasked with apprehending them, however. I'm not sure they'd be pleased with how this turned out. They were going to be terminated anyway. I just sped up the process. They can't regret what I've done. I cannot be so weak. My actions achieved what they needed to. That's all that matters. In uncomfortable silence, the two leave the underground pub and return to the surface. What a psycho. Pass me that device. I was instructed to return it to Lionel when I meet up with him next. Right, here you go, sir. Passing the device over to Beckett, the assistant continues. I have some supplies to stock up for the lab. I'll meet you back there. Very well. See you in the morning. The two go their separate ways. As they leave the scene, an onlooker lurks forward from the shadows. She's mature, but not yet middle-aged, carrying a serious weight to her facial expression. So that's him. Looks like something serious is going on. Seems we were right to be tracking him. Who the hell is she? She's new. The group gather in the small research office in the evening, having been summoned by Arca. Thanks for being here, everyone. We're going to hear from Jasper directly, so we're all clear on the situation as we activate the device for Elijah. Things are probably going to become complicated from here. That's a fucking understatement. So we all need to be across what is happening. Jasper, could you fill us all in on the device and what you found out upon assembling it? Right. Well, first off, you should know that it is complete and ready to go. What the founder sent through was perfect, really. There was minimal tweaking needed for the software to run, and the hardware was pretty straightforward too. I've done several tests and confirmed it is working as intended. Finally, some good news. It is, but I have to say that I just set it up based on the software and plan sent to me. I can't guarantee it'll work. You have to know that, Elijah, and understand the risk involved. There's only one way forward for me now. I understand the risks. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't terrified to face this. But I can't run from this now. This is my role to play. I see everyone fighting so strongly against Bosk to make things right, but I'm no fighter. I can't be of help in combat. This is the one thing I can do. The one thing only I can do. This is how I can join the fight. I won't let you down. Everyone here has risked so much to be here. I can't betray their hopes. I have to do this for all of them. For her. And the world she is striving to create. Elijah looks around the room as he speaks, ending on Zyla and holding her gaze. As long as you understand. I have some insights on how this thing is going to work, having looked through the software. But before that, I'd like to do a regular scan of your brain before we activate the unit, if that's okay with you, Elijah. Sure. Jasper moves the scanner unit close to Elijah and begins to run the test. Okay, just sit tight and I'll see what's going on in here. Jasper looks carefully at the data being received through the scanner. After taking his time, his eyes dart back and forth to compare the data charts on his device. He eventually speaks up. So it looks like your brain is functioning in a similar way to how it was earlier. Although it does appear that it's more functional activity, flowing from the memory centers of the brain, such as the amygdala with the cortex. This is likely because your new memories you've made over the last little while. So I can understand, please, brain man? It means his brain is working well now, even though he hasn't recovered his old memories. It's good to hear. I'm also doing the scan so I can compare the effect the machine has on your brain activity. It's going to give us a good baseline to know what's going on. Okay, you can sit up again now. Earlier you said you had some insight into how this machine works. Could you summarize that for us? Sure. From what I can see, this machine works by stimulating the repressed memories and brainwave patterns so that they can be reprocessed by the conscious mind. In English again, thanks. Rather than trying to override the mind completely and force the memories back in, the device feeds the memory information through your current personality. Feeds the memories through my current personality? What will that even be like? Well, rather than you becoming those memories like the orb attempted to do, it'll be much more like you watching those memories flood through your conscious mind as the current you. So it'll be like watching a movie of his past. Maybe something like that, though the memories also come with emotions, thoughts, feelings. It'd be much more intense than watching a movie if I had to guess. Is there even a big difference between becoming the memories and experiencing them in the way you just said? Yes, there is a meaningful difference. You, as you find yourself today, will be the one who will have this information fed to you, and you'll have to decide what to do with that information. Having said that, the emotional resonance should still accompany the memory, so these memories will likely still feel in some way as if they are your own. Can I be honest with you, Elijah? I feel like I'll regret it if I don't say something now. Sure. What is it? Syncing your memories in this way could be quite dangerous. It will force the experiences of the past through your new personality, along with all the emotional weight with them in a short period of time. Imagine a lifetime's worth of experience hitting you at once. It would be extremely overwhelming. Isn't this what happened last time with the original device? When history just repeated itself and messed me up again? I don't want to go through that again. I can't return to that nothingness. It'll destroy me. No, that won't happen. This device is quite different. The last device tried to implant the total brain state, or personality, from the other timeline, which caused your brain to essentially go haywire, as it couldn't reconcile them. This device is just going to sync those already implanted memories and replay them through your conscious mind, as if they're brand new experiences. That is the trick. It's quite clever, but also dangerous. It's pretty concerning, Jasper. What will his experience be like while the machine is working? What will be happening to him? Although I can't be sure, I think it'll be something like a vivid dream unfolding before him, one that hits really close to home, where you're the main character. The brain can process things quicker in that state, so even though it'll feel like a lifetime of experience for him, it'll likely only be hours out here. It doesn't seem fair, Riker. It sounds like torture. We can't put him through that. It's okay, Zyla. The last few days I've done a lot of thinking, considering everything at stake. It does terrify me, but I told myself I wouldn't back out when I got here today. I really am the only one who can do this. The founder has managed to put together a plan that has worked out every step of the way. I just gotta trust I can get through this. I won't back out. I said it before and I meant it. She's trying to protect me, but it's my turn to do something towards protecting them. I can't be shielded from the inevitable forever. This is my fight. Elijah... Gee, that whole spiel was pretty badass, Elijah. Will I see all of my past experiences or just some of it? I don't really understand all the programming, but I think this bit of code is indicating that it's only going to sync memories from a certain strength threshold onward. In other words, from a certain time onward. If I had to guess, the founder would probably have chosen when you first started as a researcher to make sure that you got all the info you needed, so perhaps around 2042, 2043? Likely something like that. And like all your memories, the ones that will replay clearly will be the most significant ones you've experienced. And you may even have experience of his brain state as a whole. Experiences of his brain state? I suppose more abstract, dreamlike experiences of his mental state. It's just a guess on my part, but some memories aren't so much pictorial sequences, but rather general feelings and emotions that are deeply ingrained in our conscious memory. Whatever you see in there, just know that there is a finite amount that will be synced. You just have to get through it all, Elijah. It will come to an end. I have 2 separate timelines worth of forgotten memories in my head. Does that mean I'll get a jumbled bunch of my strongest memories from both this timeline and from line 0? I'm glad you brought that up. No, you won't. Not from both timelines at once. And let me tell you why. Listen up, because this is important. Why do I have a feeling I won't understand anything he's about to say? Your brain has 3 distinct neural patterns that I can see. 2 which are almost completely dormant, plus a third being your new and current personality, which is suppressing them. The device works by identifying a particular pattern and feeding that back through the cortex, your conscious mind, for reprocessing, which is what I just explained. Simply put, it'll only play one set of memories through at a time. Can you tell which of the 3 brain patterns is which, and which one we should choose to sync? I can tell which is your current personality easily, because of the brainwave activity. Out of the other 2 suppressed ones, unfortunately I can't tell. They're both dormant, and only your brain can interpret the signals. The device just stimulates it for the brain to process. So we should just randomly choose one of the two dormant memory sets and have that synced. I think that's the only option. I think both the past you from this timeline and the you from Line 0 both had a good understanding of the Tempest system. I think syncing either should be enough for you to remember the physics of it to build your device. That is true, though if I was able to choose one, I'd probably be the one from Line 0. He worked tirelessly on the Tempest system itself, which is what he needed to know about. Where in this current timeline, he or I spent more time working on the memory device. Well, unfortunately, we can't pick knowingly, so we just have to guess. Is there anything else we need to know, Jasper? That about does it, Elijah. Lie back on the bed. I'll start getting you prepared. Okay. Jasper spends time looking over the devices, checking cabling and connections with a deep look of concentration. It's okay. Breathe, Elijah. I can do this. No more running. No more fear. He positions the device ready to use, followed by setting up a drip for Elijah. Sorry about the haggard nature of how it all looks. I had to use what I could find. I guarantee it's all safe to use though. Alright, now lie back and relax, Elijah. Why you got a drip? This isn't surgery. Even though we took it for medical emergencies, this is really when we need it. We have no idea how long Elijah will be in there for. We need to keep him hydrated at the very least. How are we looking, Jasper? Is everything alright? It is now. Elijah is there. Anything you want to ask before we get started? Elijah's heavy breathing betrays his intentions to keep his fear under wraps. Rather than directing a reply to Jasper, he turns to Zyla. Do you remember your promise? Zyla stares back at Elijah, and as they hold each other's gaze, everyone in the room can feel the depth of communication that occurred purely by their locked eyes in those few moments. Zyla then breaks the silence to reply strongly, I do. Elijah, I'll keep my promise no matter what. Then I'm ready. Let's not drag this out. Let's get started. You got it. Jasper makes the final preparations by darting around several complicated-looking menus. Alright, we have two different memory sets to choose from. As we don't know which is which, why don't you choose, Elijah? 1 or 2? Oh, shit. Alright, I'm gonna save, obviously. Because one of them will probably end up frying our brain or something. Let's go... 2. In that case, let's just go with number 2. Okay then, preparing now. We're counting on you, Elijah. Whatever you see, whatever you experience, make it out. We'll see you soon on the other side. You will. Don't worry, I'll be back with the information we need in no time. See you soon, Elijah. Okay then, final checks are all complete. The memory set has been loaded. Stay calm. Just stay calm. Elijah takes a deep breath as he steels himself for what is to come. Here we go, starting the device in 3, 2, 1, activate. Here we go. It's all been building up to this one. What is this? Where am I? Elijah looks out into the swirling, endless void that stretches out before him. It is everything and nothing all at once. Wait, what was I doing? Why am I here? Elijah, released to his mind, calls out to the void, panic overtaking each moment. Damn it, come on, think. Why am I here? Think. That's right. That's it. We just turned on the sync machine. But why is it like this? Maybe this is the form of my consciousness? I can see and hear myself, but aren't these just my thoughts? This is strange. I guess this is just my own mental projection, like in a dream. You'll never be as good as him. What is that voice? What is happening? You're a joke, you hear that? A joke. Everyone knows it. That voice. Elijah can hear a voice but see no form, as if the voice he is hearing is itself crowding its way into his own thoughts. You're a laughing stock. Everyone in the world can see it. You're nothing like the real him. Nothing like that hero. Damn it, I wish that voice would just shut up. You're a fraud and everyone can see it. Shut up! As the voice continues to pour in, visible dark veins seem to pour out in front of Elijah, and as each one does, he feels an intense wave of negative emotion pour through him. Guilt, shame, inadequacy, an unbearable torrent floods against his soul. What is this? Was this my old self's mental and emotional state? This is unbearable. Everything I see, I experience. It is your fault she's dead. Murderer! If you weren't around, this never would have happened. Who's dead? Damn, this must be what Jasper meant. All this stuff he said about abstract experiences of memory. Visual forms of negative emotion continue to crystallize and sweep through Elijah as this vivid, dreamlike state blurs the lines between sight and emotions. Nobody cares about you. They just pretend you were him for their own entertainment, and you fell for it. What have you ever achieved? Nothing. You're a loser and you know it. The jeering voice continues, one after another in seemingly endless succession. As each one piles in, it weighs heavier and heavier on Elijah's mind. Damn it, this is way too intense. It feels like it's seeping into me. The void before him becomes like mud that oozes and floods into Elijah's own soul. This is gonna destroy me. Ugh. In the midst of the overwhelming torrent, Elijah seeks to calm himself. It's okay. They said that each memory would come to an end at some point. I just need to get through this. Suddenly a rising swell overtakes him. Everything in view vanishes. As if floating, his world is absorbed into a white nothingness. I don't think I could have taken much more of that. Elijah waits. As in this strange experience, he has no agency, no ability to control what's going on, nor the ability to interact with it. All he can do is watch, experience, and make comment to himself in his own mind to keep his sanity. Before long, something emerges before him and begins to take shape. Although he can hear and see, there is a haziness and lack of clarity to the unfolding memories. You finish off those calculations, Elijah? Yeah, the computer just spat out the results. I'm sending them through to you now. Good. Let's hope we got it right this time. Yeah, sure hoping. That's supposed to be one of my past memories. I guess it's what I used to be like. This is strange. So, hey, Tara. Yeah? Do you think we'll be able to do it? Get the receiver working, you mean? Yeah, you think it'll really work? I think the receiver will work. Whether we get a transmitter to work, no way to really know. Judging from what they're saying, this is before the receiver is built, so it must be 2044 or earlier, years before the pandemic hits. Well, we may find out if it all works when we switch it on. Imagine it, we may even get a message come straight through. I guess it depends if your theories are right. Yes, and even if they are, this could always be the first loop anyway. If that's the case, we won't get a message even if it works. Guess we won't know anything more until we finish it. Even then, we may still not know. Well, it won't be long until we finish. Hey, when we do, we should go and have a drink to celebrate. If I didn't know any better, I think you were asking me out on a date. Oh, well, I'm not asking you out on a date. How typical a response of you. Well, if we finish this job off right, I'll consider letting you take me out for a night as a reward. Looks like I better get some results then. Now that's incentive. That's how you get your workers to work hard. The memory before him then starts to fade away as something distant, retreating into fog. So that was the past me. Looks like I had a thing for Dr. Tara Evans. I can't tell which timeline this is though. Up until this point, they both would have been identical. They wouldn't diverge until after the receiver was completed and switched on. That is the earliest point the Tempest system was able to change the timeline. Before long, another memory emerges and starts playing out before him. And we're almost done. I'll run a final diagnostic report just to be sure. Good, kind of scary now. The moment we turn it on, it could be something huge or nothing at all. Yeah, it's a moment of truth, I guess. Though even if we don't get the message come through, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. This could all be the initial timeline after all. Could be. Who knows really? Only one way to find out. How long will the diagnostic report take? It's almost done now. Are all the preparations ready to switch it on? I think so. Though, I'll never truly be ready. True. But I'm sure ready. Ready to earn that date. That again? Even now? And diagnostics are complete. Looks like it's all working according to design. Good. Right then. I guess this is our moment. Sure is. Would you do the honors? Would love to. Well, here we go. Dr. Evans leaned forward and flips an activation switch on the unit. I guess this is the big moment. And also the moment I'll figure out which timeline these memories are from. Anything? Not yet. It seems to be working though. Connection to the Tempest field confirmed. I guess we just wait. See if anything comes through. If it doesn't, either it doesn't work or we're on the first loop. I guess so. Time to play the waiting game then. Suddenly, alarming sound rings out from the unit. No way. Is that what I think it was? Let me have a look. Tara Evans rapidly takes control of the situation, leaning across Elijah to check what's happening with the unit. No way. It works? I can't believe it. A huge message seems to be incoming. Says it'll take several hours to decode it. It has begun the process now. I think we did it. We did it? We did it! Suddenly realizing the magnitude of the moment, the two enjoy a rapturous moment together as they begin to understand that the countless hours poured into this project has yielded the most astonishing of results. As the memory plays out, a visual light pours forth to penetrate Elijah, as his experience for himself of the ecstatic emotion displayed by his past self. Incredible. So this is what that moment was like. It also seems to have answered my question. This must be my memories from the current timeline, not those loaded in via the orb from line 0. As before, the memory starts to recede before him as the next sequence begins to take place. In the research office, they're still gathered around Elijah as they look on with concern to the monitor nearby his side. How's it going, Jasper? Does it seem to be working? He seemed to be in distress before. I think it's working. Either he had a severe spike in what appeared to be some kind of negative response. There were neurological signs of severe distress. Is that because of some malfunction or something? No, it seems to be working okay. If anything, it is likely that whatever he saw in there just caused that kind of response. This is so cruel. How's he doing now? Much better. Signs of positive emotional responses and more stable brain patterns have appeared since. That's a relief. Poor guy stuck replaying all his strongest memories. What a roller coaster that'd be. Exactly. It is likely we'll continue to see high and low spikes of emotion. We shouldn't become too alarmed. As long as these events pass, Elijah will be fine. And if they don't pass? They will eventually, I think. Being honest here, the real risk is the mental trauma of whatever his past self has experienced. He can only become as damaged as whatever his past self was. I don't agree with that. He's also reliving them all at once. Surely that heightens the chance of inducing some form of trauma. Maybe I don't really know enough about how this machine operates to be sure about anything. All I can do is guess. What I do know is that he'll be experiencing in his own past memories. So hopefully we can rest in the fact that it can't be anything worse than whatever his past self experienced. Suppose we just hope he led a nice and dandy life then, right? Nobody leads an easy life. Anybody who's lived long enough would have experienced all kinds of suffering. I just hope it all hitting him at once would break him. Come on, guys. Why are we all sooking about something like that hasn't even happened yet? What about all that trust the founder crap you were spewing earlier? He would have thought this all through, yeah? I think the machine will work just fine, and you're all worrying for nothing. A pause lingers after Levi's words. You're right, Levi. I guess I just felt a bit helpless, standing here watching Elijah go through all that. I'm sure he'll be okay. Good point, Levi. We just have to put our trust in the founder for now, and not overthink this. Us all standing around and watching will probably just make us edgy. I propose we take turns sitting with Elijah while the rest of us busy ourselves with other things. Jasper, why don't you quickly show us what to look out for in his brain scan, and then we can take shifts with him. Sounds good to me. Now, I'll be the one to stay with him. What? Why? We should share that responsibility. It's a promise I made to him. If he loses himself or whatever, I said if anything like this happened, I'd stay with him. I'm going to honor that promise. I know you well enough to know when you're serious. Okay then. Jasper, show Zala what to look out for in the scans. Right. We'll sort out your food and whatnot, and come in to keep you company. Let's all hope it isn't going to take too long. Thanks, guys. Alright, the rest of you come with me. I got a few housekeeping jobs to get done around the place. Elijah continues to see memories of his past swirl in this strange mental world. He sees before him the memories of receiving his first Tempest message, along with watching the personal message addressed to himself with all the conflict and confusion his past self experienced through it. This is crazy. A pandemic that decimates the whole world? I can't believe that is what happens only 3 years from now. Yeah, I really can't wrap my head around it. Me either, but the evidence in that message was undeniable. I guess the machine really does work, though this news is a bit of a downer. Yeah. What about this message from my future self? What the heck am I supposed to do with that? What can I do with my future self's raw brain data? I know a little bit about brain science, but it's nowhere near my strength. This is too much. I think we need to slow down and take one step at a time, Elijah. Your future self said it himself. He sent through that message just to make himself feel better about the situation, and who could blame him? But for now, we need to put that aside. It isn't urgent. Right now, all we have to worry about is what to do with this info about the pandemic. The clock is ticking for us to act. You're right. We need to focus on the pandemic. Here's a storage device. Let's transfer over that personal message and the brain data, and you can hang on to it. Seems that was a personal matter that we don't need the whole world finding out about. We can delete it from the main data pack, and you can sort the rest out later. That's the least we can do for him now. Okay. I'll hold on to it, and we can worry about that later. Thanks, Tara. That's okay. Once word of this gets out, this is going to be huge. The last thing you need is people nosing around into personal matters. We'll keep that part of it as our secret. After slowing down her pace to talk to Elijah, Tara suddenly snaps back into action. Right. We'll prepare the data pack and send on to alert the Minister for Science. Things are probably going to get hectic for us from here. We may have to say goodbye to ever having a normal life after this. I guess that means we have to take a rain check on that date of ours, in. Tara gives a wry smile back to Elijah. Well, at least for now. There's nothing we can do about that, I guess. Alright, we better get to work. Because I feel like I'm not being able to speak properly this episode. I apologise if my reading has been terrible. This memory recedes as another, far more dark and abstract takes its place. Everybody, welcome to our show, Dr. Elijah Shaw. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Shaw. Let's get straight to us. The virus hit just as predicted several months ago, but thanks to your vaccine, the world has been spared from absolute catastrophe. Now tell us, what was it like the moment you discovered that your future self succeeded in saving the world? Damn it, I'm such an idiot! Well, it was quite a shock, I guess. Look at you, so proud to be interviewed. You did nothing, and you know it. What is this? It looks like a memory of me on a television show, but overwritten in some way? And they just said the pandemic had just already passed? I guess the memories jumped in time to 2047 or later. The confusing scenes play out before Elijah in such a way he has trouble keeping track of what it is transpiring before him. Yet as he watches, one thing is clear. The tangible waves of inadequacy pour through his mind and emotions. I can't imagine what it would be like to be an upcoming scientist and receive this attention at such a young age. What do you do now? What is next for Dr. Shaw? At that moment, the images before Elijah suddenly begin skipping forward in time, playing out a cascade of similar scenes. Each of them media and television appearances, appearing one after another in a seemingly endless succession. Today we have with us the man behind the machine that spared humanity. Everyone welcome, Dr. Shaw. Pretender. Our next guest is Dr. Elijah Shaw. Fraud. To kick us off tonight, we have a young scientist whose future self saved the world. Everyone put your hands together for Dr. Elijah Shaw. Joke. You know they don't care about you. You're only asked to do these appearances because of something you never even did. You're the dancing monkey for their entertainment. You're just a stand-in for the real hero. Look at you, stealing someone else's glory. Is this what he was feeling and thinking this whole time? This must be his memories overlaid with his thoughts and feelings. I guess that is often what a memory is anyway. Damn it, this is almost unbearable. How do you live feeling like this? Alright, we need to wrap this one up because we're running on a little bit late here. We're nearly 40 minutes in once again. So we'll cut this one off here and we'll continue reliving our memories in the next one because most of them look like they're going to be bad and we might even have 2 sets to go through. Who knows? We shall see. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting out with me and I'll see you in the next one.